morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Let everybody get situated before we get started. It's going to be a good day today. Regardless of what the weatherman's saying, whatever, but I'm going to say a quick little word of prayer. I better pray twice this morning. Said 3 times is a good man. So I'm going to pray one more time. Father in heaven, once again, I come to you today. Just to say once again, thank you. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Continue to look over us and bless us. And give us our health and strength. Let us see another beautiful day we've never seen before and one we'll never see again. I ask you to help me to explain this the best way I can. Yes. Just asking your name. Amen. Thank you. Amen. 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 We're going to, for the last 2 Sundays, we've basically been talking about the same thing. All right. So I'm going to do a quick little, like the teachers do in school, a quick little review. What was what? Now the first one, we was talking about the ordination of the priest. Right. You had to do specific things. You had to be very specific. You had to be very, everything had to be perfect. That's right. Because if it wasn't perfect, that's right, you was going to suffer consequences. That's right. And one of these ordinations of the priests, everything they had to, come on in. One of the things that when I look back over these and did a little review, one of the things that Aaron and his sons had to do when they sacrificed this major sacrifice, the animal or whatever it was, the bull or calf or whatever it was. That's right. Some of the blood was to be put on Aaron's right ear. And the blood to be put on Aaron's right ear and the lobes of his sons' right ears. All right. And on the thumbs of their right hands. Wow. And on the big toes of their right feet. Wow. With the rest to be sprinkled on the altar. All right. And the rest of it to be mixed with 1 cake of bread and 1 cake of bread mixed with oil and 1 wafer from the basket to serve as a wave offering. That was on the ordination of priests. So they had to do all that. All that had to be done perfect. All right. And if it wasn't perfect, you know who they had the answer to. That's right. Now, I'm going to go on over here. That was to the next one, which was something to do with the mercy seat. All right. If I can find it. I got it laid out here, and I went over. Find it. Y'all bear with it, okay? The pitching of the tent. Yes. Okay? Now y'all know what I spoke to Moses saying, speaking to the children of Israel, and they bring me an offering. Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering. That's right. Okay, now, everything had to be specific. That's right. Had to be perfect. That's right. The colors of this place. Okay? 10 curtains of fine twined linen, right, blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work. Thou shalt make them. Now see, the reason that the Lord made it like that, when they was in captivity. That's right. All of these enslaved Israelites. That's right. Build stuff specifically. That's right. Because they had to make everything exactly right, like them guys wanted it. That's right. So they was already good at what they was doing. That's it. So when they got to the instructions, it wasn't no problem. They went on and laid it the way it's supposed to be laid, and exactly, and God knows that. That's right. God knows that. Yeah. Now, we come into this one right now, the Day of Atonement. That's right. Okay. Now, the background scripture is Leviticus 16. The lesson passage is Leviticus 16:11 through 19. All right. The main thought, he shall make atonement for the sanctuary because of the uncleanness of the people of Israel, and because of their transgressions, all their sins, and so he shall do for the tent of meeting. which remains with them in the midst of their uncleanness. That's Leviticus 15 and 16. Now, he had to do this the way the Lord had to do it, but he had to do it for himself too.
That's right.
Because he was right there with us.
Right.
He had to cover his teeth handling too. So he had to do it the way he's supposed to be doing. So I'm going to read these. It won't take me long. I'm going to read these and set the stage for you. Aaron shall bring the bullock of sin offering, which is for himself.
That's right.
And shall make an atonement for himself.
All right.
And for his house.
Yep.
And shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself.
That's right.
And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before the Lord, in his hands full of sweet incense, beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, and the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony that he died not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. And before the mercy seat shall be sprinkled the blood with the finger 7 times. All this got to be specific, man. They got to do this right. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions and all their sins. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place until he come out and have an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Israel. And he shall go out on the altar that is before the Lord and make an atonement for it, and shall take the blood of the bullock and the blood of the goat and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. And he shall sprinkle the blood upon it with his finger 7 times. Right. And cleanse it and hallow it from the uncleanness of the children. He had to do it just right. Because that's the only way they're going to be forgiven for what they did.
That's right. That's right.
Same with him. Because he was leading them.
That's right.
He was right there with them. So he had to do all this specific. Everything had to be perfect.
That's right.
And and just thank God we don't have to do that now. Because it'd be a whole bunch of trouble. Because ain't too many of our folks got no bullocks, ain't got no goats, ain't got none of that stuff. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Okay, now. Now, these rituals was commanded by the Lord.
That's right.
Much of their instructions supported the purpose of reuniting the nation under the banner of God's chosen people. They were God's chosen people.
That's right.
He was trying to get them back into his graces.
That's right.
Okay. Much of the acts was symbolic, however. Okay. These enactments were necessary at the juncture in the life and context of Israel. Okay. When the New Testament high priests such as Annas and Caiaphas is examined, we will find that the rituals and care of the temple would mirror the transactions of the tabernacle. I told you all this going together.
That's right.
All them last two lessons going together.
That's right.
Now we're going to go to this first deal called the sin offering of the high priest. The biblical language may often seem to be double speak. In other words, you're going to double back on it.
That's right.
If you was here the last 2 Sundays, I don't remember like I used to remember, but if y'all paid attention, y'all remember this.
That's right.
Okay. One most closely examines it to understand its meaning. For example, when the scripture reveals that Aaron should offer a bull for his sin offerings, the idea is that Aaron is making this offering for himself and his household. The second part of the sentence is repetition of the first fact that Aaron is to make a sin offering for himself. So you're gonna make sure this is done right, because you're going too. You see what I'm saying? So you got to make sure it's right. Now, verse 11 allows us to realize that The Lord places the high priest in a position to receive sin offerings for the masses. However, the high priest, just as anyone else, is also not above sin. Okay?
That's right.
The high priest must offer personal sin offerings for himself and his family. In this sense, the sin offering of the high priest is necessary because atonement is needed to cover himself and his family. So we're looking out for you, your family, wife, kids, whatever. Okay? Okay. Moreover, the high priest had to be cleansed with the pollution of sin before he could function as a mediator to offer the sin offering to the people.
That's right.
After offering the bull, his personal sin offering, Aaron makes the kill. If we closely examine the specifics of this, during the time that Aaron makes the kill, he is a bloody mess. He got blood everywhere all over.
That's right.
Okay, he got blood all over.
That's right.
He cannot immediately offer the blood of gain God's favor because of his killing of the bull. The blood has made Aaron unclean.
That's right.
So you know what he got to do.
That's right.
This is what he got to do. Also, remember that the high priest and his assistants will become bloody and sore from the offering that sacrifices of others. And since their clothing would be caked with layers of sediment, the need to be physically clean would be very important.
That's right.
Okay, they got to be spotless.
That's right.
They got to be spotless. Okay. Now, after they do that, Aaron was to take a fire pan full of coals from the fire of the altar. Now, fire pan, I looked it up, it's a little deal, like a little scoop it up. Little deal like that. I looked that word up. I got it wrote up because I can't read my writing, so. Anyway, that's what that was. Okay? One must be careful with the translations, as the Hebrew term makaita may mean fire pan or censer. That's the same thing, censer or fire pan. Okay? Notice that Aaron must instruct to bring 2 handfuls of finely ground sweet incense to burn inside the veil. Incense often seems to may have served as a multitude of purpose. They had been used to drive away evil spirits and thereby sanctify all the utensils of the place of worship. That's in Exodus 30, 26, and 29 if you want to read it for yourself. Undoubtedly, the sweet smell of incense provide an antidote to the periodic order of the animal sacrifice. That's to block out the odor. A lot of y'all know, I can say a lot of y'all, but some of y'all back in the day, y'all know when incense y'all know when y'all was breaking the law, y'all like that incense. So all they can smell of that incense, you can't smell that weed, and you can't smell that other stuff. So y'all know that incense covers up odors. Y'all know what that's for. That's right. Therefore, if God was to receive a sweet Savior and thereby be pleased with the offering, incense was necessary to compensate for the smell of the sacrifices. However, spices were never added to the flesh of the animals or birds. So they had a pretty tough smell that was, but you know. All right. Now there existed a sense of danger in the Holy of Holies because death could occur to the priest and exact instructions were not followed. Y'all hear that?
That's right.
Exact.
That's right.
It had to be specific.
That's right.
It had to be exactly the way he said it or you're going to fall out and die.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? The high priest was the only one, this is to be careful, was allowed in the sanctum, was to put the incense on the fire before the Lord in the cloud of incense, which also is understood as the paucity and thickness of the cloud of smoke. So needed to cover the mercy seat. Man, y'all seen these, some religions still do it. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think the Catholic people still do that incense all around, and they, you know, stuff like that. They still use that stuff.
That's right.
And you got a lot of people do other things that don't make sense. You know, some of them have snakes and all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it goes. Okay. And all that needed to cover the mercy seat, which is on the ark of the covenant. Otherwise, he will die.
That's right.
Okay. Additionally, the incense was specifically prepared to be burned in this segment of the ceremony. And the effect of the thick smoke created a screen between Aaron and Lord have mercy. Shekinah, meaning that which dwell, the people, that's for the people that dwells in the presence of God over the atonement cover. Again, keeping themselves safe from what is a certain death. Okay? That was one thing he had to do. Okay, now, the sin offering for the people. He did that. He had to do all that to make sure he was saved.
That's right. That's right.
This is for the people.
That's right.
You know, like a lot of, you know, you get, it's for God's people, for the people.
That's right.
Continue the ritual. Aaron moves to slaughter the goat. Now, you did a bull, now you're going to go to the sin offering for the people. This is the third entry of Aaron's into the Holy and Holies and represents the sin offering. This aspect actually consisted of 2 male goats, one serving as the Lord's goat, and the other representing the scapegoat. The slaughter of the first goat, which was the Lord's goat, is explained in verse 7 and 8, where Aaron selected the goat for the Lord and the scapegoat by casting lots. Okay? Y'all know what casting lots is, right?
Yeah.
Y'all remember when they had Jesus on the cross and they was casting lots for his clothes and all that? So y'all know what that is. The sprinkling of the blood and the procedures have been previously mentioned below in verse 20 and 21. Now, Aaron was to follow for the offering of the scapegoat. When he finished the atonement of the holy place, the tent of the meeting and the altar, Aaron was to offer the scapegoat alive. Aaron placed his hands on the live goat and confesses the sins of Israel. The goat was alive, confessing the sins of Israel as if he was placing these acts on the head of the live goat. Following the ritual, the live goat is then released into the wilderness, check this out, and serve as a symbol of the iniquities of the whole Israel nation.
Wow.
Okay? Now that's that goat. Yeah, it's supposed to take away this sin. You know, the Israelites now, they was hard-headed people.
Yeah.
They was hard-headed people. All right, now, here we go. In verse 16, the Hebrew term used in verse 16, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, P-E-S-H-A, Pesha, the most grievous accusation in the Old Testament, which is better translated as rebellion against God. Okay? This initial use of the word in Leviticus indicates that on the Day of Atonement, not only were intentional sins atoned for, but the tabernacle was purified to allow God's presence to reside. Cleanliness and restoration to the Lord is needed because now the nation had another opportunity to be chosen ones of the Lord. Right. The chosen ones.
That's right.
When Aaron goes into the Holy of Holies to make atonement, he used to be alone, all by himself.
That's right.
Just like he was when he saw that burning bush.
That's right.
He had to go up there by himself. And when he got up there, I'm going to jump ahead. No one is to be in the tabernacle proper. This idea was that Yahoo would only recognize the high priest who was granted this once in a year privilege. Once in a year. That's 365 days, one day out of the year, to communicate with the Lord on this level, as it was with the individual Moses, who signally witnessed the burning bush. There was to be no witnesses to the opening of the holy veil, so that the rite of the purification might not be interfered with by any impure presence. He had to be the only one that, if he done went through all this, he's supposed to be cleansed and ready. He's the only one that could visit. Even on the Day of Atonement, the dwelling place of God, typical of heaven, was closed to the eye and foot of man. The way into the holiness of all being not yet made manifest. Hebrews 9 and 8. The divine high priest opened the way for his people by his own entrance. These requirements do not limit it or obstruct Israel from worshiping or communicating with God through prayer and supplication. You can still pray to him in this level. You ain't going up in there. This ritual happens to be a matter of respect for the holiness of God and honoring the sanction of the holy place.
That's right.
Everything, man. Everything that he did. You know, until I got off into it, I thought he was by himself. But he had some people that helped him. Because he couldn't do it all by himself. I thought he was all by himself until I got off into this.
That's right.
I didn't know that he had some, what the word they use, accomplices or whatever. He had some people with him. Now, the scapegoat would be Jesus, who would take on the sins of the world. That's the scapegoat.
Yes, Lord.
Okay? There is nothing negative about the love of Jesus and his serving as both the sacrificial lamb and scapegoat are nothing but honorable.
Yes, Lord.
Okay, so yeah, I always wondered, man. I know he did what his father instructed him to do, but I always wondered if he just said, "Dad, I ain't going down. I don't want no part of it."
My Lord.
So just what do you think would have happened? See, but he gave his only son. I mean, God sent him down here.
Yes, he did.
Okay, and he had to do it.
Yes, he did.
And anytime when he was in the garden praying, man, this man was praying so hard that he was sweating blood.
That's right.
And it was blood. And I mean, it's unreal.
That's right.
That's unreal. That's hard.
Yes, it is.
I've never seen anybody. Can't nobody sit here in this sanctuary or pulpit or nowhere that had Thursday, Friday, and Saturday that Jesus had.
That's right.
Okay?
That's it.
Can't nobody. Ain't nobody.
Nobody.
Ain't nobody in here,
Nobody.
including myself,
That's right.
gonna put that kid up
That's right.
to die for these folks down here in this earth. You can't tell me that. Can't nobody look at me and tell me that.
That's right.
Ain't no way.
That's right.
Ain't no way.
That's right.
Okay, now, I'm getting close, y'all. I'm getting close. The lesson applied. In our contemporary society, if the topic of incense enters into a conversation, it is usually associated with the use of drugs and how the sweet fragrances are used to mask the pungent smell, usually of, y'all know what it is, marijuana. There are the array of commercial air fresheners that are used. However, culturally, stick or bowl incense is favorite in modern times. People still use it. They still burn incense.
That's true.
Especially if you burnt something up in your house. Hear that smell, you lost control of what was in the oven or whatever. You won't get something, air freshener or something. What is noteworthy with the example of the precise using incense in the worship services, that is, ammonia, was also pleasing to Yahweh, that's God. Moreover, in Catholicism, that's what I said a while ago, the priests use incense in their censer to proclaim and acknowledge the presence of God. Ain't that something I didn't know that?
Yeah.
I know they use it, but I didn't know they was using it because of the presence of God.
All right.
But see, when you get off into this and you look at it, you're gonna learn something every time you get into it. I mean, you're never too old to learn. If incense would be used in the Protestant churches, would it be offensive, or could it be an acknowledgement of the presence of God? That's in any church. You got all these Catholic churches, Protestant churches, or Methodist churches.
That's right.
I never forget the first Methodist church I ever went to. We went there on a program. He was speaking.
Oh, yeah.
The mayor, of course, was singing.
That's right.
We knocked on the door and they had to open the door, because the neighborhood that it was in, they had to make sure that what was what. I'd never seen that before. You remember that? You remember that? I never seen it before, but where the church was sitting, the surroundings was unbelievable, man. And we had to go in there and make you wonder, because you're looking around, there wasn't that many people in there, but you never know. Everything happens for a reason.
All right.
Okay, now, I'm getting close to the end now. Let's talk about this. Christian adults are to appreciate God's work to repair the relationship with its covenant people. Although the majority of churchmen believe that they are saved in many circles, the truth is that there exists some uncertainty. Hear that? Right. Although the Old Testament worship rituals may seem barbaric and crude, these mechanisms are designed by the Lord to bring the people together under one banner.
That's right.
Okay, that's why he was doing this. That's why he was so specific in how he wanted this done.
That's right.
Try to bring everybody under one banner. But as you can see, excuse me, right here in this town, we got a little church here, a little church there, a little church over there, a little church behind us. Still got, churches everywhere, but trying to bring everybody under one banner. Okay? Now, regardless of the manner of which God chooses, God constantly works to to repair relationship with his people.
Yes, he does.
Constantly.
Yes, he does.
Constantly works to repair the relationship with his people. For God so loved us that he sent his own, he sent into the world his only son. Through him, the world might be saved. Christian adults must treasure the love of Lord and grace that's offered to these believers. That's believers.
Yes, it.
That's the believers.
That's
You know,
it. Believers.
I saw some guys sitting around the table. He was smacking them young and old, and they was doing this and all that. I just had my hands in my pocket. I walked over there. I said, hey, Joe, what's going on? I said, I just want to come and tell you, I mean, y'all, you know, I need to come on to the church. You just go in, have a seat, listen. Okay, now, I'm not going to put no pressure on you to stay in that. You go in there and you listen.
That's right.
If you don't like it,
That's
ain't
right.
nobody going to put no whip on you, man. Just stay in there. You can leave if you want. And only one person showed up. But that's all you can do.
That's it.
That's all you can do. You know,
That's it.
you can go out, go around from door to door.
That's right.
And I never forget, I knocked on the door one time, and the woman came to the door and said, "What?" I said, "Oh, man." I just got over here.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm just here, you know." What you want? What you want? I said, "Man, listen, I'm sorry. I just want to come back to the church and this and that." I said, that was right back. And I don't like what nobody do. Sometimes it's just like some people come in that door. You don't know what they done been.
That's
You don't know what's on their mind.
That's right. That's right.
You don't know what they basically they're supposed to come here to hear the word of
That's
God.
right. That's right.
You know, listen and understand and get something out of it.
That's right.
But some people come in here just to come in here to, you know, just to come in here.
That's it. That's it.
And, you know, you have to stop looking, listen.
That's it.
You know, who, what, why, where, how many. You know,
That's
just come in here and listen.
That's it.
And you might pick up something that take
That's
out.
right.
That you'll take out with you. Okay, because I seen people come in and they'll laugh and talk with you. And we used to have a little fellowship hour, 15, 20 minutes, they go through the fellowship and talk and laugh or whatever. We used to do that. Get out of Sunday school, get out of church, you go to Kroger's to pick up some milk, and you see the same people. Who you speak to?
My Lord.
Who you speak to?
My Lord.
I've seen that. I've
That's
witnessed
right.
I've witnessed that.
That's right.
So all in all,
That's right.
those instructions that all these guys had to go through,
That's
that's
right.
all the Bible is, basic instructions
That's
before
it.
leaving earth. That's
That's
all
it.
it is.
That's it.
So if you follow them instructions,
That's